Hello, welcome back to the ministry. This is Taj McCameron, and I'm coming on to share with you a word that the Lord gave me. He gave it to me a matter of days ago, but I was watching a movie, and I heard it again. And technically, this is a movie, not really a movie, a song review / word. Okay. So this is what the Lord kind of brought my attention to. Daniel 8-25 talks about the fact that you had King Nebuchadnezzar, who had a grouping of the three Hebrew boys, right? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So because he had them and they would not follow the direction of what people thought was the right way to go, meaning the king's rule, the king's order, the king's ordinance, then they were thrown into the fiery furnace. So, Lord, I'm going to need you to give me a little bit more wisdom in this. With having been thrown into the fiery furnace, it says that there was a certain Jews whom you had appointed over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and these men, O king, pay no attention to you. They do not serve your gods or worship the golden images you have set up. Nebuchadnezzar was furious and enraged, and he commanded Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be brought before these men, before the king. Nebuchadnezzar answered and said, "Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods or worship the golden images that I have set up?" Now, if you are ready, when you hear the sound of the hornpipe, lyre, triangle, harps, a whole bunch of things, and the kind of music to fall down to worship the images that I have made, well and good, but if you do not worship, you shall immediately be cast into a burning furnace. Who is the God who delivered you out of my hand? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in that matter. If this be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But if not, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your God or worship the golden image that you have set up." Nebuchadnezzar was filled with fury, and the expression was on his face again against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times more hotter than the usual heat, and he ordered for some mighty men in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and cast them into the burning fray. And then these men were bound, and their cloaks and tunics and their hats and their other garments, and they were thrown into the burning fiery furnace, because the king's order was urgent and fervent. The furnace overheated, took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, felt bound into the burning furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar was astonished and rose up in haste as he declared the counselors, "Did we not cast these 3 men bound into the fire?" They answered and said, "The king, true, O king." He answered and said, "But I see 4 men bound walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt, and their appearance of the 4th is like a son of the gods." So the Lord wanted me to start with that scripture because he wanted me to do a review. He showed me this song a few days ago and I didn't touch it, but he had me hear it. He heard it was the song by Jasmine Sullivan called Let It Burn. And I not only heard that, I was watching the movie The One. And in the movie The One, Jet Li's character, as he was fighting his arch nemesis villain version of himself, he walked through fiery sparks, okay? And none of them burned him. And I just heard Let It Burn. And I'm like, huh. And the thing about it is, you would think I would be going in the direction to talk more about the fire that God had brought us through. And he has brought us through fire. There is a level of fire that we have been through in the midst of this process that has been uncomfortable. It has been irritating. It has been all of these kinds of things. But God was in it with us the whole time we were going through it. And what the Lord was showing me is, as we are preparing to come into these relations and relationships, that the fire that we have gone through to prepare us to get to this point, that there is a burning away that comes with exiting one thing and entering a new thing, okay? I remember a few years back, I was preparing to leave an old season. And when I was preparing to leave this old season, the experience was uncomfortable. But I remember having a dream that I was in like a hallway, but the hallway was on fire behind me and around me, but I was going towards this small exit. It wasn't even a door. It was almost like the size of a window. And I was trying to get to it to leave that season. Things in your life either may seem like they're burning up or they are breaking down into a certain degree. And even saying the word degree represents heat. Is not so much that it's burning up, you're being separated from what no longer can withstand where you're going. And the things that would be the thing to force you to stay is being removed. So it may look like things are burning up, but to the contrary, God's just saying that the vehicle he used to get you from where he was to where he's taking you is being removed. Okay? It's dismantling. So you're going to see the pieces dismantle. And I heard another voice make this point of saying it this way, which I found it interesting. She put it that as the season is changing, it's changing out, that God knows when your season is supposed to end, and he situates your situation in such a way that as he lines it up, that he will give you enough leeway, head time, to get ahead of that thing before it collapses. Okay? So he will move you just ahead, and if you're spiritually in tune, you will move when God says move. And you will avoid the calamity in which the devil wants to trap you in. But what happens is the enemy tries to bring about a level of delay, hoping to think that he can trap you in the season that God is trying to release you from. So you have two things working as in opposition to one another, okay? I know a lot of you are wondering, so what does it have to do with the song Let It Burn? Well, there are things that are happening in your life, and then there are things that are happening in your God ordained spouse's life. And with the things that are happening with your God ordained spouse, there are things that he has to allow to break down and burn. Or do you want me to bring that part in here? I was listening or reading something the other day. It was the monologue that was done in the episode that I talked about. These men are getting ready to come towards you, and because of that, it's a line that was written, and I'm trying to see if I can see it. And it's funny. The line starts, "One night after supper, the lead dog turned up a snowshoe rabbit. The dog lay down low to race, and his body flashed forward leaf by leaf." For some of you, this is reminding me of two scriptures. One, after supper, the children of Israel were prepared that they were to have their shoes, their sandals, all their stuff. They needed to have it on, because at the point in time in which God was going to remove them or move them to where he needed them to be, it was going to be quick. Okay? There are a lot of things that have died in the previous season and are dying off now. There is an impending maneuver that God is preparing to do. But when you see the door, don't delay. Take the leap. You hear how I got that? With that being said, with some of your partners, it comes into this. Night came on, the full moon rose over the trees, which brings me back to what I did in one of the previous words. That remember, he was waiting for the sound of a going in the mulberry trees, right? The lightning, the land tilted, it laid bathed in a ghostly day, and the slain of the primitive remained alive. Let me explain something to you. God is so funny. I'm seeing two other scriptures as I read this, that there is a coming dawn. And you know what? I was just looking at that scripture. Okay, this is the scripture. "Then shall the light break forth as the morning, thine Health shall spring forth speedily, and thy righteousness shall go before the glory of the Lord, and ye shall be rewarded. Which also reminds me of the scripture that talks about the valley filled with water. In 2 Kings 3:16 through 19, and he said thus to the Lord, maketh this valley full of ditches. Thus saith the Lord, ye shall not see wind, nor shall ye see rain, yet this valley shall be full of water, and ye may drink both, ye cattle and ye beasts. For some of your God-ordained spouses, they have been in a drought. And they've been in a place mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and socially droughted. And God has been trying to show them, I'm about to give you back what you need, but it's going to come with the association of the wife that I'm bringing into your life. It's going to be, but you're going to have to take a leap in the direction that she in. And you're not going to understand. You ain't going to be able to see everything, but you're just going to know the instruction which I gave from you. They are quick to listen, 244. And they are listening, but they may not see or understand how it's going to work. Which means they have to take a leap of faith and trust God in the fullness of how this is going to occur. But by doing that, they also know they have to let the past be the past, burn off, die, so on and so forth. So with that being said, what's the last part of this? Faithfulness, devotion, things born of fire and Ruth were his. Yet he retained his wiliness and wildness, and from the depths of the forest a call still sounded. Your God-ordained spouse has already received his clarion call. And he has to walk in the faith, in the devotion towards God, to be able to walk into the thing that God's telling him that he needs to walk into. So he's going to need to trust. And with that, he's going to have to let old things burn off and die. He's not going to lose his wildness nor his wildiness. That's necessary for him to walk in the boldness and the fervency in which God has given him to be able to walk back into some of the places he's going to have to walk back into, just like Moses had to go back into Pharaoh's camp after he'd been gone for a while. But he's going to become aligned with what he needs to walk into, okay? And with that being said, he brought me to the song that came from my TV show, Buffy, that they did a musical episode, but he only wanted me to refer to this verse. It's called Walking Through the Fire. And it's called, this particular verse, it says, and we are caught in the fire at the point of no return, so we will walk through the fire and let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. Now, I'm going to go into the song, okay? Because I know you were wondering, when did you get to the Jasmine Sullivan song? It's coming right now. Okay, so here we go for the Jasmine Sullivan song. So it starts off, you got the ad lib. I'm not gonna read that. I want to be good to you. Some of these men have not been in a relationship that was good to them, so they have been in avoidance to taking a leap into something they do not understand. Okay? Call me crazy, but I think I found the love of my life. That's right. Some of them are afraid to take this next step, that leap, come out of that wilderness, come out of that place that they were in, because of the fact that how the Lord brought this relationship about, they don't know if they can trust it. How you ever felt warm and cold, right? Some of them, they have been in a cold place, but we, as the kingdom wives, have warmed their heart. That's how it gets you when you least expect it. You can't reject it. When these relationships came to these men, they didn't understand it. They don't know where it came from. It's like it came out of left field somewhere. They were in the middle of whatever it was they were doing, and then here all of a sudden God's telling them, "Oh, by the way, I'm gonna need to rip up everything that you built with your own hands, and I'm gonna have to put it together with the thing that I wanted." And they were like, this is my life. What you mean you? But every time they tried to reject you, God kept putting you back on their heart. Kept putting you back on their heart. Kept bringing you back around. They could not reject you even if they wanted to. Because you kept showing up spiritually over and over and over again in front of them. It was like, what? Or maybe you're just doing that with me, but that's how he's been showing me him, so I'm assuming he's showing him me the same way. So, that crazy little tingling feeling pain in your chest, just when the Lord gave me the vision or understanding of who my God ordained spouse was, he brought a pain in my chest, a literal pain in my chest. And it happened to me twice. The second time, it felt like somebody was literally creating an earthquake inside of my body. Don't know how that worked, but yeah, that was weird. So I couldn't avoid what I felt, and it wasn't normal. I couldn't have said, okay, that was a health thing. No, that didn't feel like a health thing. That felt like somebody was creating an earthquake in your chest. So, you feel the fire, just let it burn. There's no running when it's your turn. Some of us, even as the women, have been like, are we sure? Is it happening? And God's saying, yeah, now's the season, now's the time. Get ready. It's about to happen. No more running. Same thing for them. And I've also heard a couple different people that I listen to, they're saying time's up. It's on. Call me crazy, but I think I found the love of my life. Some of these men have been watching you. I talked about this in the last word, through the lattice window. They've been observing you because they now have the understanding that the Lord is showing them you the one. And the problem is they just need to let the feeling that they're feeling almost engulf their heart. They haven't been, because they're like, I still got to function. I still got to do this. I got it. And God said, I need you to feel it. I need you to receive it, because it's happening. The same thing for us. Just let it burn. Let it burn. Let it burn. Call me crazy, but I think I found the love of my life. Feel it creeping in your heart. Some of them, when they were trying to avoid coming into the alignment with this relationship, it's almost like it crept in slowly. They tried to ignore it. They tried to logic it away. They tried to whatever other thing they used to try to get rid of it. It didn't work. It was still there. Oh, can you feel it tearing me apart? They want to know, can you feel just what they feel? And yes, we feel it. We feel it too, because God has connected us to you. That's why sometimes our heart be palpitating. We be wondering what in the world's going on, because we feel your discomfort. Duh. When it comes to you, you never want to give it up. That's right. That's love. They don't want to give you up. You don't want to give them up. You can't even imagine it being any other person besides them, because it's like, God, you showed me, I'm coming in agreement with what you said. Otherwise, and baby, I'm caught in the light. I ain't gonna fight it. There's no use in trying. I'm yours. They know that they're yours, and you know that they're yours, because we haven't been able to fight this off, get rid of it. I remember Megan Michelle did a beautiful rendition in one of her videos where she said, it's like, either this is real love or I'm caught up in some type of weird matrix. You know the line from that song. Because some of us have tried to pray it away and it didn't go nowhere. And it's like, God, if this isn't you, please let me know. Let me know. Didn't go nowhere. It's like, oh, okay. So I can continue praying in this direction then. All right. And I want you to want me the way that I would you and more. Meaning, we already want them. They are starting to want us. We have wanted them for a while, but they have not come to the realization how much we have wanted them. And some say that they want us more than we want them. Isn't that the relationship we have with God? And so if you're ready to take this ride, we could go all the way around the world. Remember, I did a short work called Atlas? Go back and look at it. I talk about going around the world with this individual. You could even go to the stars if you like. They want to give you everything that they can give you. And even if you go look at After 7, Ready or Not, it talks about, in the very beginning of that song, Ready or Not, I want to give you the sun, the moon, the stars, and everything else. I know it's scary because someone always gets hurt when you care. That's why I ain't been in no relationship with no man since my last relationship, because the last one, I'm not playing that game again. This is why I prayed for a God-ordained marriage, because I'm not playing with my heart like that again. And for these men, it's the same way. They're like, I cared for another person, and they burnt me once, twice, 3 times. 3 different women burnt me. Several different women done burnt me. Why? What makes you different? I've been burned too. Sir. I ain't playing with you. And I feel that way too. Be ready or not, I'm coming for you. Did I not just talk about the After 7 song, Ready or Not? There you go. With that being said, then it brings back the verse. You can't get away from love. Come on, it's yours. Come get you some. They know they can't get away from you. You know you can't get away from them. The word states what? What God puts together, let no man put asunder. That's it. When God said it's you, And it's them. They can run, they can hide. The tether is already there spiritually. The problem is that when it was a counterfeit involved in the mix, God was trying to sever the counterfeit, and the counterfeit was trying to sever y'all. So God's saying, no, it's you and him. And may God help the person or people that try to sever you from one another. That's all I gotta say. It's yours. They just have to come forward. They just have to approach. They just have to do what the Lord has told them to do. They already know. If God's already telling them, they already know. They trust God. It's going to happen. Come get you some. Watch what it makes you do. When the love is real, when the love is true, it's going to be full and fulfilling. Lastly, it's going to knock the cool right out of you. It reminds me, some of these men, they are a guy next door type. They're really nice. And because they are very gentle, sweethearted spirits, some of them are terrified to have a conversation with you. It's going to knock all that cool. And some of them, they even publicly have a presentation about themselves that says, what in the world is that? It publicly makes a presentation that shows what is it? A positivity that they got this cool air about themselves. I'm cool, I'm this, I'm whatever. And because of that, it's that element. And they're like, but when it comes down to you, completely knocks all the cool out of them. They like, what? I don't understand. How do I say something to her? I don't understand how to speak to this woman. She scares me. And some of them are nervous and very scared to say anything to you because it's like, this, what they're feeling towards you, they don't know how to articulate it. It's all right. We feel the same way. So let me give you the last verse just to close this up. You feel the fire, let it burn. There's no running when it's your turn. Call me crazy, but I think I found the love of my life. Just let it burn. Let it burn. Let it burn. Just let it burn. Let it burn. Just let it burn. But I think I found the love of my life. And the last thing I want to give y'all is this quote. The quote is from the movie The One. The man says that sometimes you will go in a circle looking for what is your center. When you find your center, the circle is complete. That's all. Bye-bye.